Hello people! Today we're doing a set that I'm calling Candy Cane Sparkle, and this is on my own nails obviously. So let's get started. Now I'm showing you part of the builder day of my nails because that's where part of this is going to happen. I've got some green and red chunky glitter mixes and then some green and red Mylar bits. Also some iridescent chunky glitter mix and some just iridescent glitter, fine glitter. And we're going to get started with some base coat. Now when I stripped my old, the raccoon set that I had on here, when I stripped that down, I took my nails down. Since I only had to do fills this time, I took them way down to as thin as I could get them without causing any breaking or anything, because I knew I was going to be doing encapsulation, and that always really bulks everything up a lot. So we're starting off with the base coat, and we're not going to cure this yet. And one more. Okay, and then we are going to start off with the chunky glitter mixes. And we're going to, I started off with the fan brush to deal with the chunky glitters, and then I switched to a littler brush for the little tiny glitter later. I was trying not to touch it on there, but I kind of had to, so I ended up with base coat on my brush. Now when I started off with these, I didn't have that much on there, but I am going to be going back and adding more because right now it's pretty sparse looking. I was trying to save room for the Mylar as I was putting these on, and then once I got the Mylar on that I wanted on there, I went back and added some more of these glitter mixes because I needed it to be a little bit fuller than what it was. Now notice I'm not putting the glitter and stuff all the way up to my cuticle edge, because when I put my Polygel on, I want to have at least a little bit of my actual real nail for it to adhere to. So in case you were wondering, that's why. Once I got this stuff on the brush too, I did not want to come off a lot of it. And I'm alternating every other one with red and green, except for the ring finger, which is still bare over there, and my thumbs, which I'm using the iridescent ones for. And here we go with the ring finger one. Now I will be showing you how I'm doing this with my thumbnail a little bit later, because I changed up the way I did it, and I'll tell you why when we get that far. But I had a bit of a mishap with the Polygel and the glitter, so we'll get to that. Okay, now we're going to cure those, and now they're back out. And now I'm going in with another layer of base coat. And I am checking my brush before I stick it back in the bottle every time, just to make sure there's no glitter stuck on there. And if there is, you just wipe it off, obviously. Like, see, now we've got green all over there. Because you don't want to be contaminating the base coat with glitter bits, because that'll come back to bite you in the butt later when you're trying to do something and then you got glitter in it and you didn't want glitter in it. I've been down that road too many times. Okay, now we're going to go in. Now that we've got the base coat on again, we're going to go back in now with the different Mylars and put those on. Now I've switched to this little brush because it was just easier to deal with picking up these Mylar bits. Sort of. Sometimes they don't want to pick up, sometimes it's no problem. The only reason I'm splitting it between the glitter and the Mylar is because I have this stuff that I'm not using, and I wanted to just at least use it occasionally. So I'm trying to sticking with the thing that I've been doing this year, and trying to use stuff that I haven't used in a long time, or that I've never used and I have. I seem to have quite a lot of stuff that I've bought and just have not ever gotten around to using yet. So as I'm sitting here though looking at these Mylar bits, and I have lots of different colors of that, I'm thinking that would be kind of a cool set of nails, is just a mosaic of different colors of the Mylar, just kind of fit them together like puzzle pieces on there. That might be kind of cool. Maybe I'll do that at some point. Okay, now we're moving over to the green. I started off just picking up any of them, but then as I've gone along, I've started not picking up the really huge giant ones because it was a little harder to fit them on there, and I wanted to make sure they were going to be stuck in really well. I wanted all this stuff secured pretty good before I started putting the Polygel on. Now I'm just going over with a second coat of chunky glitter on that iridescent one because I don't have Mylar of that color. And once I get all these on and I'm happy with it, we're going to give it a cure again. And now I'm going back in with a little bit more of the glitter mix because I wanted this filled in more. What I really wanted was the tiny glitter that was in the mix to get out of there, but for some reason I was not getting it. It was not picking up. I'm always getting where the big pieces. And now there's a cat hair or some hair on there. I'm assuming it's a cat hair because it's coming from my house. Or everything has cat hairs pretty much. At some point I believe I switched to the smaller brush, but maybe I didn't do that till the other hand that you're not going to see anyway, but I did switch to that littler brush at some point. It was a lot easier to pick up the small glitters out of there, not so much of the big ones. While you're watching me struggle to get these on there, don't forget, guys, I still have plenty of nail sets left if anybody wants them on my website. It is carlenescreation60.com. They're all half price. If you want them, you got to get them before the end of the year because the website will be closed down. And also, while I'm thinking about it, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed here because I just realized yesterday I'm leaving on the 18th, which is a Wednesday, to go out to my parents for my Christmas visit. And normally I go on Saturday and then stay till whenever Christmas is. But considering Christmas is on a Wednesday, and I didn't want to go out there and be out there for like too long because it just creates more stuff at home that's not getting done. So I decided to go out 1 week ahead, which made it on a Wednesday. But that threw my whole nail schedule off. So now before I leave, I have to crank out 3 more sets of nails and videos. So I am going to be crazy for the next week or so till I get those done. On top of which, I still have to finish making a bunch of Christmas gifts for people that I'm making with resin. Okay, those I've cured now. Moving on to the Polygel. This is what I use, Makartt. And now that it's cold again, I have to use 2 hands to squish it out of the tube because it's really thick again. Remember in the summer it was like practically pouring out of there and I was having issues. I had to put it in the refrigerator before I used it. Now I'm back to its regular consistency, which I like much better. But we're just going to put some on. Now I did put on more than I normally do because I wanted to put this on rather thickly so that I will have plenty of cushion for when I file them again, and I don't want to file through the glitter and Mylar and whatever else. And you guys know how I don't like a fat chunky nail, so I really tried hard to get these back down to some kind of shape and thinness after I got done with the Polygel part. And when I'm working the Polygel down, I like to look at my nail from the side, like that view, so I can see where there's lumpy, bumpy stuff I need to smooth down. And also that way I can check and make sure I have actually gotten it all the way to the edge of the nail. Because sometimes when I get up here near the end, I haven't gotten it all the way over to the edge. So I've got to pull it over, which is what I'm doing now, and you can't see, but trust me, it's on there now. You know, they were quite a thick mess by the time I got done with the Polygel part. I did end up spending about maybe close to 2 hours on the filing of them to get them back to something I was happy with. I did manage to get them almost all the way back down to where I normally like them. They're still a little thick, but not as bad as they were. And I'm just going to give it an extra pat down around the cuticle edge. And then I will, once I'm happy with the way it is on there, I will clean up around the cuticle edge with the dry brush after I've wiped it. Now it's got some semblance of shape that I'm mostly happy with, at least until we start filing. Okay, now we'll just clean that stuff off around there. And moving on. Oh, nope, not moving on yet. I gotta get this, fix this at the edge a little better, at the free edge. Okay, now we're moving on. I'm just going to show you there's one more, and that's going to be it. And the rest I'll do off camera. I'm also going to do all the filing off camera, so you're not going to see any of that. I'm just assuming you guys know how to do it, and nobody wants to sit and watch all that because it's boring as hell. It's not fun for me to be doing it either. That's the one thing I hate the most about doing my nails, is all the filing. Inevitably, I manage to damage my cuticles in at least one spot. I try so hard not to, but it still happens. This is why I don't want to have to work on other people, because I damage my own self. I don't want to have to be worrying about hurting somebody else. But this is the same thing. I think I sped this up actually, although it doesn't look like it. I think I did. And same deal, we're just going to work it down the nail, make sure it's getting to all the edges and the sides. Try to get it smoothed down into some kind of shape that I can live with. Now, the reason why you're watching this that I skipped over that iridescent one is because what I firstly did was I took the fine iridescent glitter, I mixed it in with some Polygel, and that's what I was going to use for the encapsulation on the iridescent ones. However, I mixed in way too much glitter, and it started to seize up the Polygel. I had a really hard time getting it on that nail and smoothing it out. It just did not want to move once I got it on there. So that's why I switched over to what I'm going to do here. This is basically how I did the rest of them. After that one nail was such a bust, I didn't do the rest of them like that, of the iridescent ones. I switched over to going a different route with it. And if you look at the picture, you'll see that that one first ring finger with the red stripes, the fat red stripes, that one has got a much more solid pack of glitter under it because it had that glitter-laden polygel. That one was like worse than a lumpy mess when I finished with it. I was kind of surprised that I was able to get it filed down to being decent again. But what I'm doing is basically what I did before, is I'm just going in with a layer of the chunky iridescent. Sorry. And then we'll cure it. And then we'll go in with another layer of base coat like this. And then I will go in with another layer. Well, first I put some more, I put the iridescent glitter, the little fine glitter, in to get it, try to get it a little more solid with this. This was so much easier, frankly, than what I was trying to do with the polygel. Although if I had not mixed in as much glitter as I did, it probably would have been fine. Because I have mixed stuff into poly before, not in that volume though. And I'm just going to add a few more of the big chunky ones because some of them I've now covered over. And when I'm happy with it again, then I'll cure it, and then I will just polygel that like normal. Okay, now they've all been done. I filed them all. We're back to working here. Starting off with red gel paint, striper brush, and we've got our green polish. I had to use polish because I do not have green gel paint, nor do I have blue and yellow. So I really would like to get a nice set of gel paints other than the like half a dozen that I have, because I have so many often needed other colors and I just don't have it. But I'm starting towards the middle-ish area of the nail. Now we're only going to do the iridescent ones right now. Now as you're looking at that one, you can see how packed that one is with the fine glitter. And in the end, it came out looking nice, but it was just not pleasant to try to work with. So anyways, on the iridescent ones, we're going to get all of our striping on here first. And I like to start towards the middle with the middle one, because then I can work out from either end and still be okay. Now I started to fill this in and then realized that's going to take all day with that striper. Excuse me. So I'm going to go back and get those after this. You'll see. So we're going to skip a wide swath, and then we're going to go in with another kind of a wide stripe. Very awkwardly trying to work on my own nails once again. This whole thing would have been so much faster if I was doing this on press-ons. Because for me to try painting on my own nails and have to turn them around in all these awkward ways, doesn't always go well. I was very proud of myself, though, that I got all my stripe lines, for the most part, are nice and straight. I don't have any janky looking edges. Now, having said that, when you look at the ones that have the white stripes on them that we're going to get to in a bit, some of those look a little bit wonky, because once I poured the acrylic powder on for embossing, that kind of fattened out and did stuff with some of the skinnier lines that made a little bit of wonky stuff, but not too bad. They look infinitely better than they did, that if I had tried this a couple years ago, they would not have looked nice. Now I've switched over to my detailer brush, and I'm using that to fill in my stripe lines now, my fat stripes. Don't worry, I'll come back into the shot here in a sec. Now see, if you see my thumb there, you can see it's not packed as fully with the fine glitter as the one I'm working on painting right now. That's why. That's the difference, because of the way I did the underneath the encapsulation part. And this hand went okay, and surprisingly I did pretty well with my offhand when I had to do the other hand too. I really thought I was going to struggle with that a lot, because whenever I'm trying to do something that's got to be nice and, you know, perfectly straight, or, you know, very detailed, I always have issues trying to paint on with my offhand, as I'm sure all of you guys do. But I guess I have gotten better with it enough that I could pull it off now. Okay, this nail is in real time. When I get to I'm going to show you the thumb after this doing the same thing, and that one is going to be sped up. So I'm just doing a little cleanup on my cuticles and any oddball stuff. Okay, now I have cleaned my brush out. We're going to go in with green, and then we're going to make skinny stripe in that like wide area that we left. That was another challenge too, trying to do the striper brush on a curved surface. If you're going straight down the nail from cuticle edge to free edge, and you're going that way with vertical lines, it's easy, no problem. But having to go around a curved area and keep the lines straight, that was a bit of a challenge for me. As you can see, the brush doesn't want to fully cooperate. That was one thing too, when I did my offhand, I held the striper brush on the nail, and then I turned my finger to move it along instead of moving the brush. That way I felt like I had more control over, you know, trying to do that. Now I've cured that whole nail. So now we're going in and I'm going to do the thumbnail. This one has been sped up, so it won't take as long. We're going to do the exact same thing, except for we're going to reverse the colors. We're going to do the fat stripes with green and the skinny ones with the red. The whole reason I decided to do this set, well, firstly I wanted something that was going to be easy and you know, simple. Notice I didn't say quick, because it did take me quite a while between the encapsulation process, the amount of filing, and then painting these. I had to do these iridescent ones one at a time. Like, do part of it, cure it, do the other part, cure it. Normally I like to do like a whole hand or a whole rack at the same time and put them all into cure at once. To me that's just faster, but when you have to sit around and wait for it to cure, it's kind of a pain. I'm not used to that. I'm used to doing, you know, put one rack in, work on the other one, then that one comes out and you keep swapping back and forth, but now I can't do that anymore. Especially not working on my own nails, because I can't have one hand going in the lamp and another one I can't do anything with the other one while I'm waiting. But any kind of janky looking edges I'll straighten out as I was filling these in. And if I messed anything up, we got to take it off and clean it and replace. Okay, then I cured that one. I guess I didn't show you doing the skinny lines. I forgot to hit record, but you can see, you know how it goes. And now we're top coating everything, and I'm using a tempered top coat. This is the final top coat, so the rest of this that's going to happen will not be top coated. So getting this on here, and then we will cure them. Okay, and they go to cure, and now we are in for the final step. We're going to repaint all the rest of those with the glitters now are all going to get striped. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did on the others, except for now we're only using white. We'll go in with the fat stripes and then the skinny ones, and I'm pretty sure this is the only one I'm going to show, since you've already seen me do the rest of them. Even though I just edited this yesterday and now I'm voicing it, I'm pretty sure this was the only one I showed the white stripes on. I can't remember now from yesterday. That's pretty bad. Now I found when I was doing my little finger, if I could balance it on the little finger of the hand that I'm painting with, I was able to kind of keep it more steady. For some reason, when I lay my fingers down on my table like that, I don't always, like, they're not just resting there. So I tend to press it down, and then sometimes it gets a little shaky, and then I have janky looking lines, and it's a whole thing. So when I laid it on my finger, I didn't have that issue. Okay, I'm now putting the skinny stripe lines in between where the fat ones are. Essentially, I could have just went down this whole row and striped them all, and then decided which ones were the fat ones, but I figured I better not mess myself up, so I got my fat ones on first and then the skinny. Now we're going to fill them in. And what I'm going to do, and I don't think you're going to see all of it, is I'm going to do all of them, all three fingers on this hand. I'm going to do all the white striping on there first, and then don't cure it yet. Now if you want to do it one at a time, if you don't think you can manage to do it without bumping the wet ones on anything and messing stuff up, then by all means cure them, do one at a time and cure them. But I don't like to do that, like I already said. Okay, now that we've got them all striped up, I'm going to put my acrylic powder on. This is a clear acrylic powder, and we're just going to sprinkle it on there until it stays dull looking. We don't want it to be shiny. Try not to bump it with like the edge of the container or anything when you're getting it on, sprinkling it on. I did that on a couple of them, so I had to fix things, which I hate. Luckily, I was able to fix the worst one without having to wipe it off and start again, because I had already spent enough time on these at that point. Once I get all this powder on here and I'm happy with how it's looking, it will go into cure, and I'm going to cure it for 2 minutes. And while my hand is in there, I'm going to rock it back and forth from side to side, so I make sure that the side edges are going to get a good cure too. Okay, see that one? I bumped that one, this red one, and luckily I was able to just dab some more, go in with some more paint and fix those places where I scratched it. What happened was I leaned over and some of my hair got in there, and as my hair dragged off of there, it caused the smear a little. And somewhere in my hair there's now gel paint. Oh, Lordy. Not only that, but my lap, I had black leggings on this week, and my lap, after all the filing and working with the white acrylic powder, it looked like I'd been out in the snow or something. It was a mess. I'm a mess this week, guys. Okay, then we just wipe them off after they've been cured with the brush, and voila, there we go. A little bit of sparkly, which isn't picking up all that great in the camera, but it is there. When the light hits it, they're really pretty. And there they are, all done. There's both of them. See, I didn't do too bad on my offhand. And there are the thumbs. And everything again. I think they turned out cool. I like them. If you guys like them, please give me a like. I really appreciate it, and it helps me out a lot. And here's my finished picture. I know it looks like there's white missing from that one part on the pinky, but trust me, it's actually there. If you look at the pictures at the beginning of this video, you'll see the white is on there. It's on there now. I'm looking at it, so I don't know why the picture didn't pick it up. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. I'll have some more Christmas stuff for you on the next one. Take care. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.